Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman to reply the discussion.
Sir, thank you very much. And I thank all the members, more than 20, who have spoken on this bill. It was a fairly simple, small amendment, but a very significant one at that, because the ministry was rightly alerted and also advised by the Supreme Court of India's registrar on the suggestion of the Chief Justice of India that the amendments that we have brought earlier will have to be in alignment with and be in line in similar fashion with the amendments done to the tribunals, other tribunals. So since it was a very valid suggestion and it was only right that it was pointed out by the Supreme Court, so we quickly thought it is important for us to respond and respond in time, and therefore we've come up with these amendments, essentially just two of them, where the age limits had to be for appointment both for judicial and technical members had to be aligned with the rest of the tribunals, where 67 and 70 respectively for the member and the chairperson had to be addressed. So we readily brought that in. The second amendment also, which was desired, so that we are in consonance and in alignment with the rest of the tribunals, was where advocates with 10 years standing in the courts will also be eligible to be appointed, which was only a fair suggestion and right suggestion, so we agreed that this should come through. But in the course of talking in support of this bill, many honorable members have raised, I would think, absolutely important issues about the GST. And I would like to just respond to some of them, because it is important for the members to know that the issues that they've raised are definitely of such nature that it needs to be clarified or replied to. I won't protract the replies with too much of a response, detailed response, but pointedly, Member Amar Patnaik had certainly raised the issue of an authority for advanced authorization. It is provided for in the law, the central GST law, and section 101A does speak about it. But it is also equally true that it has not yet been set up, and the importance of setting up is what the member has highlighted. GST is still evolving. We have overcome many of those difficulties by gradually fulfilling those which have been identified even at the drafting stage of the law. Advanced authority ruling is also something which the trades would love to have it, but I just want to say that we recognize the concern of the member. Member Amar Patnaik also was very clear that the vacancies in the tribunals, referring to the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, saying at that time the concern expressed by the Chief Justice then seems to be true and relevant even today, saying that the numbers. I would like to respond by saying the concern expressed by the Honorable Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, was well worth mentioning, and we took into cognizance and acted on it, tried filling up the post vacant. Filling vacant posts is a dynamic thing. People come in, people retire, we immediately find alternative lists and then fill it up. But the numbers have today come down, and there are still a lot of shortlisted numbers and names with which we are moving ahead. So sooner we will be filling up as many vacant positions. But even as I say this, and since Sri Amar Patnaik is somebody who's been in the administration, has done a lot of these kind of, looking at public accounts and so on, it is not easy to find people, especially technical people and also retired judicial officers. There are only a certain number. Even if you fill all of them in, you still have vacancies lying there. So it is a real-time, hands-on problem that I am facing, and I would certainly like to bring that to the notice of the Honourable Member. We also had the former Finance Minister of Bihar, Sri Sushil Modi ji, talking, highlighted many of the issues, and whilst agreeing with the amendments that we have brought in this time, raised issues and also suggested that the risk profiles can be asserted before, giving input credits, and also making sure that we can restrict the claims. These are specific points. I'd like to assure the member that these are specific points on the GST Council has had elaborate discussions. Risk profiling before input tax credit is given are all issues on which the discussions have happened in the GST Council. Some steps have been taken to address them, and these are not as if it is addressed once and never again this topic comes up for discussion again. Some topics keep coming as we go along to realize if this can be a better opportune time to do if we didn't do it earlier. So risk profiling before giving input tax credit or restricting claims are issues on which the GST Council has been talking. Sir, there was also this reference made by Honourable Member Sushil Modi that if 60 lakh is the threshold for these small firms to get registered, beyond which they have to get registered, and if they are 60 and below, they can be kept outside. Or is it 40 now, or is it 20 now, has been a question which he did raise, and conceded that at the current moment it is 40 lakhs, and suggested that even at the time of drafting this legislation, there was this question whether 60 can be given and can it be therefore given now, was his suggestion. I do hear him. Equally, I was very pleasantly surprised when one of the other members speaking said that it is a desire to, because once you come into this GST enrollment, small or big companies all benefit because of the input tax credit. And the attempt should be, and ideally should be, for more and more small firms also to come on board, because they then become also people who can vend or sell things to larger companies and therefore get the benefit of input tax credit. So whilst increasing the cap from 40 to 60 may be a good suggestion, I leave it to the council to decide, but it is also equally that more small firms ideally should also come on board. So the other question about the other suggestions that Honourable Member Sushil Modi spoke about was ease of doing business for small companies. I want to say that from registration to return filing and payments, all steps are now completely online. There is no need for anyone who wants to come and set up a unit and then register for GST to run after the offices. In fact, I had the happy occasion of visiting Gujarat and going over to the constituency of the Finance Minister of Gujarat, where he has set up GST Seva Kendra, which is an idea which many states are adopting, where in one entry, meaning one visit to the GST Seva Kendra, you can register all in a matter of 5 minutes. There are people sitting there looking at your documents, also cross-verifying there and then. Register within 15 days. But if there is more to be asked, they shall do it, and only then will they go and visit these firms which want to get registration. So this example I'm taking of this Gujarat e-Seva, GST Seva Kendra is because such measures are being taken by the GST Council and the ministers who are in it to make sure that ease of doing business, particularly for the small firms, is brought in. Also, the GSTR 3B returns are now auto-populated. So it doesn't matter if you have all the data or not. All that you have to see is if those entries which have come in as a part of the auto-populated information, whether you agree or you don't. And if you don't, you can always say you don't. So these kind of measures are already being taken up. And I think because of that, the ease of doing business is genuinely an issue which the council is servicing. So I had another member talk about improvement in the GST system. Bida Mastan Rao, if he's here, member, he is here, I can see him. So he said improvement in the GST system is important. The grievances will have to be addressed. And on that, he also wanted us to do a lot of steps to go ahead taking. But I want to bring some facts before the honorable member. The number of grievance tickets which were raised earlier, in return filing that is, has fallen to 4 per 10,000 returns which are getting filed. So 10,000 returns, it used to be 67 tickets before, that is in 2017, for every 10,000. Today it's only 4. Then there has also been consistent growth in the monthly return filing, which has reached now 90% by the end of this month, and as against the 71%, which was the case 3 years ago. In the current financial year, the revenue has grown to average 1.66 lakh crores per month, and with a growth of about 11.9% over the GST collection of 1.49 lakh crore per month in the financial year 2022-23. So the growth is steady, the growth is consistent. It has reached a sort of number where you can say safely that below that will not be the collection, it can only be above it. In GST now, sir, pre-filled returns are provided to taxpayers. Just a minute ago I spoke about it. Also, the input tax credit statement is provided to ensure error-free returns. So earlier there used to be this worry that if I do one error, I'm unable to correct it. I can't get the same form back, or if I get it also, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right correction. So now we are providing the statement, ITC statement, so that error-free entries can happen. So nil returns can be filled by sending just an SMS. So you don't have to every time only keep filling the the form online. You can send an SMS, and that will also say nil returns, I don't have any returns to file. Even that is taken on board. And for mismatches in the return, and self-assessment and correction facility has been provided for the taxpayer. So these are all steps which are taking the system to be better, and I'm sure more such steps will happen. So then Dr. Anil Bonde spoke about needing more GST appellate tribunal benches. He says we need more in Pune, Mumbai, Aurangabad and Nagpur. I wish to say, sir, the decision on the number of benches in any state is as requested by the state itself. We don't decide how many benches have to be given to A state as opposed to B state. So when the state itself says, give me only 3, for instance in Maharashtra, they've asked for 3 and we've given 3. So if the member wants more, or the honorable member feels Maharashtra needs more, he is very welcome to talk to the state government and see if the state government wants to have more. And also, even the locations of where these benches will have to be situated is very much as per the state's own recommendations. Sir, there are other members who spoke about various other issues which are not so pertaining to the GST itself. But even though they refer to issues which are beyond the GST, there's one thing which I want to respond to Sri Tambidurai, who spoke because there is a severe extreme weather situation having created rain and floods in the southern districts of Tamil Nadu, as a result of which just yesterday or the one day before, there have been representation. But coincidentally, representations also had come to me because 10 days ago, 10 or 15 days ago, there was a serious flood in Chennai city. And the industrial estate in Ambattur was completely affected. So they wanted us, because every 20th people will have to file some returns, This 20th, they thought, which is today, they thought they will not be in a position to file. And because that request had come in already because of Chennai and now because of the 4 states in southern Tamil Nadu, we have extended the deadline. That is, that which has to be done on 20th can now be done till 27th. 1 whole week we have extended the date. So I wanted to respond to that. That is a relief because November GSTR 3B filing time is what I'm referring to. So that has been now postponed. Sir, but the issue which, for instance, Member Thambidurai referred to, since it pertains to the flood situation, and I want to just take this opportunity, the members will kindly pardon me for talking about non-GST, non-bill related issue, but just 1 or 2, because this might be some kind of a message also for those people who are in a desperate situation because they are cut off completely. Women and children are being airlifted with helicopters. So I take the few minutes for it. Sir, on 18 December, a total of 10 rescue teams of the NDRF were mobilized for southern Tamil Nadu in consultation with the state authorities. 8 teams are deployed just in Thoothukudi district, 2 teams in Tirunelveli district, 1 team in the RRC Chennai even now. 2 teams are reserved at battalion headquarters, and total of 13 teams are available in Tamil Nadu. Sir, 8 helicopters were provided, additional helicopters are also being sent. Then 1 ship with ICG, with rescue and relief material are all waiting there and also supplying materials for those affected districts. 19 rescue teams are in those 4 districts. Army has 2, Coast Guard has 7, NDRF has 10. Other than that, 900 crores of funds, which is the fund for 23-24, 1,200 crores in total is what the disaster relief, state disaster response fund is, of which 900 crores is the center's share. Even that is there. As reported by the state government, sir, the balance available with the state SDRF account as of 1st April 2023 is 813.15 crores with the state itself. The first installment of 450 crores of central share of the SDRF for the current year 2023-24 has already been released earlier. The second installment of 450 crore has also been released on 12th December 2023. So the central government is not in any way delaying or forgetting to provide timely relief. I want to assure honorable member, and from my point of view, from the Ministry of Finance point of view, I had ensured that United India Insurance, 4 public sector general insurance companies are all sent for that Michang cyclone itself to the ground. Surveyors are in the ground. They are sending us almost daily report on how much they've covered. And we ensured, and the Secretary, Department of Financial Service is closely monitoring just so that people who have to get insurance money for the loss that they've been put to are getting it in time, and therefore the agencies, insurance companies and their agents are literally on the ground doing the job. For the 4 states, for the 4 districts which have been affected, I thank the Home Minister for not only immediately responding with all these NDRF teams, but he has also sent the survey teams already to Tamil Nadu. So I would like to very clearly highlight the fact that with due respects, although the Chief Minister had come here yesterday and because of his other preoccupations got to seeing Prime Minister, who gave even at late night the time to meet him, because an honorable Chief Minister is asking for time, particularly that which Chief Minister who's coming from a flood hit state, he gave time even at the night after having spent the whole day in the Parliament. He gave time in the night, met with the Chief Minister, and This is the response which has already gone before the Chief Minister met with the Prime Minister himself. So I want to highlight the fact that Tamil Nadu, and particularly because of the speedy response of Home Minister, had got those relief and rescue helicopters, boats, medicines, and other assistance in time. So we shall be closely monitoring, and I assure the people of Tamil Nadu, Prime Minister Modi will be there at every time you need. So largely, I think these were the issues, sir. But I'm indeed grateful that there are members who spoke about a few features of the GST which I want to say, particularly our lady member, Ramila Ben Bara. She spoke in Gujarati, but I'm immensely grateful for her. She clearly identified what is the blessing that GST brings. She spoke about the abolition of, in a way, the cascading effect of tax, as a result of which all of us before GST used to pay such high prices for daily use commodities. This cascading effect was removed. As a result, today, daily use, whether toothpaste or hair oil or brush or anything of those kind, or your daily cooking oil, everything has come down in its price. I'm grateful that the Honorable Member, Ramila Ben, nicely spoke about it, and she also said, because of GST, people have trust in governments, because otherwise earlier you were running between pillar and post and then saying, I'm paying so much, why should I pay, and so on. She brought it out very clearly. I also appreciate the anxiety which many members mentioned, and I take the name of Sri Ghansham Tiwari saying, please will you get the petrol and diesel into GST. A lot of other members also mentioned, I wish the state governments see the point. Eventually customers will pay less tax if the GST is brought in. Overlapping, doubling of tax will not be there. So those points were very interesting that very many of those members raised it. I'm sure, sir, the last point which I want to put before you, Honorable Chairman, was Dr. Lakshman saying advocates have got a chance to get into the tribunal. Why not the chartered accountants? So that was an interesting aside. But with these responses, sir, I submit that the House kindly take it upon themselves to pass this bill. Thank you very much.
The question is that the central goods and services tax